Welcome back to a brand new live stream on my channel. Hope you're all having a good day today. We've had some data come out today, and that is I think it's the main reason why we're slowly grinding back higher. You guys can see for yourself that unemployment numbers pretty much came in the exact same, which is a good sign. You don't want unemployment going up in a fast, rapid manner, because what you're going to get is more concerns for recession. We already are getting concerns with recessions regarding the GDP numbers that came out a few days ago. But non-farm payroll came in better than expected, which pushed the market back up. Unemployment is consolidating at the same range. Initial claims came in higher than expected. And all of this data pretty much, incentivizes the Fed to start cutting rates a lot faster than they would have originally. Now, we also have had core PCE come in a few days ago as well. That came in lower than expected, 2.3 or 2.4%. I think it was 2.3%. So we're getting very close to the Fed's target rate. Inflation is likely to keep going down, according to Trueflation, which has been accurate so far. And that is why Bitcoin is pushing higher. And now the market at the moment is expecting at least 1 basis point this year, at least 1 basis point of cut. So in May, it's pretty much a 90. Wait, what the hell has this been changed? This has been changed? What the fuck? Hold on, I didn't even know this. Okay, so pretty much everyone is expecting a rate cut, the rates to stay the same on Friday. Why did this go so high? June is, let's see what June's looking like. June is, wait, hold on, what's going on here? They're expecting rates to stay the same in June as well. 30% chance of a rate cut in June. Okay, that's interesting. Anyways, we are likely to get rate cuts this in the next few months. It's very likely that the Fed will have to stop QT as well. I would say latest by August, as early as June. And the reason is because, when everything starts to look weak, the Fed needs to intervene and start adding liquidity into the markets. At the moment, it's very, very expensive for people to borrow, which is why interest rates are high. They need interest rates lower because the economy is clearly slowing down. And if Powell does not step in, you're going to get the case where everything's just going to collapse, and the Fed's obviously going to react too late, and they're going to have to start doing emergency meetings. And this is why Trump is annoyed at Powell. But we have some very important data come in recently today, actually. So we've had China offer to address the fentanyl issue to revive the trade talks. We've also had China considering sending top security official, wherever the fuck that name says, to meet Trump's team for trade talks. That's a good move because ideally we want the deal to be done because we want the 10-year to actually start behaving normally. What's happening at the moment is we're getting a weakness in the economy, and the 10-year is going up, which means it's not behaving how it normally would behave. When the economy was slowing down earlier with the tariffs, the 10-year was going down like it always does. At the moment, it's trending higher, which means people are selling the 10-year bonds, which is not good. Eventually, you could get a bond market massacre where the 10-year bond shoots up to 4.8%. And I've told you guys many, many times, when you see the bonds accelerate to the upside, it means everyone is getting risk off. It means a black swan event is happening, or it will come in the next couple of days. This is what's pretty much has happened multiple times in the past. So the bond market, the 10-year and the 3 months and the 2-year, when you start to see accelerate to the upside, you start to see a crisis, just like we had in 2007. The bond market was going up, it accelerated, it caused the same issue. The exact same thing happened in the COVID crash. You see the bonds, 2 massive green candles, and then after that, COVID hit. And we, if we see the exact same thing happen now, 2 green candles consecutively, then there's going to be some sort of black swan, whether it's a recession or whatever, it will follow. But so far, we're not looking in the dangerous territory. The 10-year, the 3 months is still negative, which means it's still inverted. Is when it gets uninverted, is when everyone starts, there's like a 6 months to 1 year time period before we get a recession. So at the moment, they're all behaving decent. They're not doing anything out of the ordinary. The only thing I would say is weird is how the 10-year bond market is behaving. It's just out of the ordinary. We don't normally get the bond market going up when there's a weakness in the economy. So people are selling the bonds. People are this is what happens when you cause a lot of uncertainty. And this is exactly what Trump is doing, is causing a lot of uncertainty, and people are just getting risk off. Whether they get sitting in cash, they could be going in gold, they could be going, for yield elsewhere. Gold is consolidating, coming down slightly, but it's very likely after a weekly bottom on gold, it's just going to keep pushing higher. Anytime there's uncertainty, gold will always go higher. And this is a good indicator of when to take profits and when to get risk on. So, when gold comes down aggressively, it means that it could mean 2 things. It means that some people are uncertain, they're taking profits on gold, or it means that they're just getting ready to hedge themselves with the next event. So when gold comes down, next, weird uncertainty happens, people start buying gold again, and it continues higher. So gold, a lot of people say, oh, gold is putting new all-time highs, Bitcoin will do the same. The reality is most people don't look at Bitcoin as a safe haven, and that's why it's really volatile. People don't look at gold as, even though BTC has been behaving like gold recently, which is very good for us, but it's still not at that level where people will go into BTC, to hedge against a recession. Melko, good to see you. Matt, good to see you. Crypto, good to see you as well. Beam, good to see you. Kim, good to see you. Cook, good to see you. Matt, good to see everyone in the chat. Boys, smash the like button. We are going to talk about the top 5 AI and top 5 RWA coins, or we could do like 3 each. It doesn't really matter. 2 to 3 each. And I'll do those in probably the next 10-15 minutes. Let's just go over some questions real quick. Shadow, good to see you as well, bro. Omar, wa alaikum salam. Jobin, good to see you as well, bro. Brick, good to see you, bro. How you been? Beam, good to see you as well. Declan, how you doing, bro? Indeed, it does. The likes do help with the algorithms, and I would appreciate every single one of you just could, quickly drop a like. European Union to ban anonymous crypto and privacy tokens by 2027. Is this good or bad long term? I mean, Europe is one of those places that wants the CBDCs more than any other country or state or whatever, and that is why anything that has to do with privacy, they go into to hate, because with CBDCs, what you get is a case of controlled. So there is a way to control the population on what to buy. That's why they want CBDCs, because if they can control your money, they can control what you buy. And if you start buying stupid stuff, like for example, now anyone can go on Amazon and buy wherever they want. However, if you have CBDCs and they got control over your banks and and everything that you own, they can tell you, or they can give you some sort of warning or stop your bank account if you start wasting your money on stupid stuff like Amazon, random stuff. That's how they control what you buy. That's what China does right now, and that's what Europe wants to do as well. So I don't really think you can ban privacy tokens, because if one country or one state doesn't do it, other countries will still adopt it, and there's a lot of countries that like privacy. So that's one of the reasons you don't want to invest into privacy tokens, because governments hate privacy tokens. Look at Monreal. Monreal is one of the most private crypto, probably the most private thing in the world in terms of transactions. But most people hate it. Governments hate it because they can't track it. If you do something through Monreal, no one can track it, and that's why it's always been banned. It's always been shadow banned. Every privacy token has been shadow banned for the exact same reason, because it gives less control over to the government. So I think it's good to have privacy tokens, but it's obviously going to be bad for privacy sector itself. But crypto's weird. If everyone bans it, everyone in crypto will pump it the same way they did with GameStop. When everyone was, when GameStop was on the blinks of going down, everyone started buying it, supporting it. That's what people do. So overkill, good to see you, Steve. Good to see you as well. Do I think ATR can go to $1 billion in cap? So ATR, hold on, let me open up some more websites. I mean, some of these stuff. ATR is an RWA coin, and it is on the list today. So we might as well just talk about it now. ATR is a very, very fundamentally strong RWA coin. It has pumped, so you obviously ideally want it to come down a bit before you buy. I was telling you guys to buy down here when everything was dead. ATR is for the community. They do regular burns, regular buying back, assets. So they buy Rolexes and they buy other products, which the community can then purchase themselves with a discount. And then you have the burns, which obviously brings the token price higher because there's less in circulation. And then you also have the staking system. So if you stake it, you also generate yield from there as well. So, and these guys do this every single quarter, but they make a voting poll where you get to decide how much you want to burn, how much you want to add to the staking, and how much you want to, for ATR to spend on products that you guys can also buy or invest into, etc. So this is I think for community and for retail, this is one of the best RWA projects, in terms of just everyday goods. So if you want to buy, art, I think is mainly, it was originally known for art, but they've expanded to other sectors for wine and Rolexes and gold. And this is good for passive income, and it's also good, because they actually tokenize stuff. They have a real system product going, and that's why I like this project. I think it'll do very well. It's on Solana. We don't really have any other, apart from Colat, any other good RWA projects on Solana, and Parcel. Parcel is pretty good as well. But other than them two, most Solana coins are just high pump and dumps. That's it. There's not a lot of real utility on Solana. This is one of the best ones in terms of RWA in any chain, but I think because it's on Solana, it's going to get that quick pump like it did recently. This is one of those projects that will pump aggressively when the market gets bullish. But last time, when I was buying over here, it pumped 7x, 8x almost from the lows. So it's one of those projects. If you want a quick mover, you want to trade, you want to do whatever, this is a good one. Rio is another good one that moves very, very quickly with the markets. They can also dump just as fast, obviously, but this held up fairly well, in my opinion. So it's a very, very fundamentally strong project. Could it go to 1 billion? That is the question you've asked. It's possible, but would it be smart to hold all the way to 1 billion in cap? I don't think it's smart. I don't think you should even do that. I think after you get like a 7, 8x, a 9x, a 10x, you should start to take profits. You don't want to be waiting for this to go to 1 billion and then start taking profits. Anything is possible in crypto. So when people say this can do 100x, it has the potential. Yes, it has the potential, but is it going to do this cycle, or it could do the cycle after? That's what people don't realize. So we're here for this cycle. I don't think this will go to $1 billion in market cap this cycle, just based on the fact that it does lack exchange listings. It has Coinbase, not Coinbase, sorry, Mexi, Gate, and Bitmart. Bitmart's like a tier 4 exchange. These are tier 3 exchanges. But other than that, most of these other exchanges don't really get used. They have 4K volume, 17, 16, Radium, pretty much dead. But there is quite a lot of volume coming from this Radium over here. I don't know why they have two, but this one has decent volume. So I don't really see it going to 1 billion in cap. I see it more going towards between 100 to 300 million in cap. That's what I would say is more realistic for this. At the very, very heights, this reached 150 during the Solana peak. I think Solana will obviously make another comeback. So, and I think RWA is a lot bigger than it was back in 2024. So let's say between 100 to 300 million dollars in market cap. That is very realistic for this project. That will give it in between a 6 to 10x from this current point on. So yes, I don't think it'll go to 1 billion, but to be conservative, 100 million to 300 million is very realistic for this project. Andy, good to see. Complete, good to see as well. I appreciate. G, you still bullish on Port, CAS, AI Tech, Aut, Natix, Tech, OTK? Got a few others as well. So CAS, I think it'll do well just because of the community alone. In terms of CAS going to fucking $5, $3, and all this other bullshit, that's not realistic because the proof of work narrative is weak. This is a proof of work token. It will come back, obviously, but this doesn't have smart contracts. It doesn't have an ecosystem. Is it going to reach? I don't even think this will reach $1, in my opinion. I think this would reach around 60, 70, between a 5 to a 10x, so maybe 50 to $1 to the highest. It's not going to go past $1 in this current cycle. In the next cycle, and the cycle after that, if it's still around, it can. But from the current point on, I don't really think anyone should hold this past a 5 to 6x. The reason is because once we enter the blow off top, what will follow after the blow off top is a recession, where everything gets worse. Unemployment is already starting to show signs of a crack. GDP is already cracking, minus 0.4%. Inflation is the only thing that's going down, but even inflation is going deflationary. And all of these signs, indicate a massive crash is coming. Now, it doesn't have to be a 90 and 80, 70% drop in Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's got ETFs now. It is going to hold up, I think, better than it did previous years. Maybe a 50, 60% drop is more realistic. 70, but once it gets past 50, you should aim to DCA in back into the markets. But, I think CAS is a good project overall, but I just wouldn't hold it past the 5 to 6x, in my opinion. AI Tech has been doing very, very well recently, and that is because they have made an announcement. Apart from obviously pumping naturally, they have more exchange listings in Q2. But I think the biggest, most bullish news on AI Tech that recently dropped is that they're going to do $1 million, $1 million USD buybacks across multiple sectors and decentralized exchanges. And I think this is going to be massive for the project. This is going to help the price. And obviously, these guys have finished their data center. The data center is now on Google. So for anyone that was hating on the data center being fake, they can now verify it on Google Maps. So I think that's very, very good. They've bought all the machines in, all the GPU machines. And we know, how well NVIDIA's been doing. CPUs, GPUs are very, very important. It's needed. It's data centers. The Trump family is investing into a lot of data centers because we need it. Everything we use needs GPUs. So that's why GPUs will be relevant again this year. Deepin for the last year and a half has been dead. It's very evident. You look at Render, you look at some of these other Deepin projects, they've all been dead. But I think this year they will make a comeback. I think gaming will make a comeback as well this year, just because there's quite a few bullish catalysts happening for gaming. For example, Sui is releasing some sort of Nintendo Switch type of device. GTA 6 has been delayed till 2026. So that is I would say that's quite annoying, because GTA 6 could have been a good catalyst for the gaming run, but now those bastards have delayed it. And when stuff like that happens, people like to lose a lot of retail, because most people that buy gaming is retail. They lose sentiment, so they don't like to buy gaming projects, or they don't want to buy more gaming projects. Some of them even sell their gaming projects because they rely on a catalyst. But there's other catalysts that will come. I think there will be other catalysts that will come. And even if there's no catalyst, the market will shift money across different narratives anyways when we get bullish again. So AGI is good. AGI actually, hold on, let me just show you guys what they've released recently. Let's see if I can find it. This right here, I think this is actually quite useful. Let me just show you guys what this is, right? So you put a token. Why the fuck is the quality so shit? Hold on. So they're building some sort of trading terminal where if you write a token down, it'll tell you all the details that you would have to spend 10, 15 minutes researching yourself. You'll put it all onto one page for you. So it'll tell you how much tokens is being held by the top wallets, who owns the token, how much the volume is for the last 24 hours. So they're building a real product that I do think a lot of people will use. It's going to tell you if the coin is safe or not, if the top wallets hold a majority of the tokens, etc. And I think this will get utilized, and then eventually they will be able to buy the tokens for you as well. That's what Lucy is made to do. It's meant to be a very good, some sort of swarm agent that can do multiple different things, and that is what they're building. So I think AGI will make a comeback. I like the name itself should be enough of a marketing. Natix, the exact same thing, my friend. Natix, TET is a layer one. They've been doing some decent work recently, but there's still a few issues with TET. OTK will do just fine, I think. I think the ST on KuCoin will get removed fairly soon, my friend. I do think it will get removed because you have to look into the fundamentals of OTK. They are, KuCoin is a private investor. They support the code token. They talk to them regularly, and that's why they done the fee reduced on OTK, and the volume has increased significantly. A few days ago, the volume was like 250K. When was the last time we seen OTK with decent volume? It's been a while. It did have a decent pump the last 24 hours, and I think the pump will increase. But the volume is 140K. Normally, it's like 20 to 30K. So it seems what they're doing is working. I think they've probably got a trading bot now, which a lot of projects do. So, and you need trading bots anyways to show some interest, because a lot of the times people look at the market cap, they look at the FDV, and then they look at the trading volume. Trading volume is good. Whales will get in. So the trading volume increasing, I think, is a good move for this project. I would look to add Sensei in that portfolio, Christopher, definitely. But that's a pretty safe portfolio, in my opinion. Vieira, long time no see, my friend. How you been? I'm doing all right. Hope you join the private group. Yeah, join the private group if you want, my friend. I think you used to be in the private group anyways. Have to try for another 45 minutes. Awesome timing for a live. Good to drive. Yes. Overkill. Good to see you, bro. What's your opinion in selling May and go away? Do you think we're going to drop again? I think a drop again would be quite healthy for the markets, because we have two scenarios that's going to play out, right? And I think everyone that's watching this channel, everyone that's watching this live stream, wants the right normal translated cycle. We could possibly, if this continues to pump, we would just go into a blow off top, and we'll probably spend approximately maybe between August to September. I think the market will top if we go into this blow off top now. If we dump now, come back down, because ideally I thought the negative GDP numbers would have at least brought us back down to the 88K support level, which is the bull market support band, 90K, 89K, around these regions, right? The 200-day moving average, that would have been pretty good, in my opinion. That's healthy for the markets. You want the markets to consolidate, not just to have a massive pump, because once you get this massive pump, you're going to get a very long time of consolidation. We've been consolidating for pretty much now since December. So that's more than 5 months, pretty much 5 months or more. And we had the exact same thing. We consolidated here for 8 to 9 months before we made the next move up. And the exact same thing's playing out now. So the selling May thing, I don't really think it's is that. I think if we don't break past, well, we've already broken past this support. If you cannot break past the support above, and we just consolidate here, it's okay to take 20% off, 15% off, and then when we have a little pullback, buy back again. Would you sell everything in May and then buy back? I think that's too risky, because the most likely scenario that we're going into now is a blow off top, and that could happen whether it reaches 130, 140, 150. I think we'll reach between 130 to 150K for the blow off top. But what I want to see happen is I want to see a low pump and then dump and then consolidate and then make the final move up, because that will be a full right transit cycle, a normal cycle where we're topping Q4. But at the moment, with all the data that's coming out, it looks like we're probably going to head into the blow off top and then go into a recession early, way earlier than people think. So, ideally we want a little bit of like selling may go away and then pump in the latter half. But at the moment, Bitcoin's chart just looks too bullish to do that, in my opinion. And just because we're going to get rate cuts as well, at least 2 to 3 rate cuts this year. I don't know what the fuck Fed Watch is doing right now, because what is the current terminal point? I don't even know. What's the current rate cuts rate? Is it 4.5% currently? July, we're definitely going to get a rate cut. June, we're going to get a rate cut, 60% chance. No, wait. The market is still expecting rates to stay the same. That's crazy, guys. 1% chance of a rate cut. In June, rate cuts, this is going to fluctuate every other week. A few weeks ago, this was 60% and this was 30%. Now is reversed. This is 70% and this is 30%. And this will change instantly as soon as Trump fucking sorts his deal out with China. And the 10-year will go back to normal and Trump can refinance the debt, because that's what his goal is. Trump's battle is with a 10-year bond. And if he can't bring it down, then he's losing the battle. It doesn't matter what the fuck he says. He can blame Powell, he can blame Biden, he can blame anyone he wants. Ideally, this is his fault and this is his battle. If he can't bring this down, then his ratings and the polls is just going to keep going lower and lower. That's all it is. So I don't think he's going to get re-elected again doing all the bullshit he's doing now. It's causing a lot of uncertainty. That's why everyone's selling the bonds. Why RWA not moving? I don't know what RWA coin you're holding, my friend, but RWA is moving. RWA is moving very well. Look at prop base. Prop base is having a very good pump. Now, I don't know what the fuck you're comparing your RWA coins to. I don't know. You might be comparing it to some specific AI agents, but AI is always going to move a lot faster because there's a lot more volume in AI and there's a lot more interest in AI. Whereas RWA is still going to be massive, but I don't think it'll be as big as AI. It's pumped 30%. Rio's up, so I don't know what RWA coins you're holding. You're probably holding some fucking low caps, which they pump at a later time, my friend. Rio's up 2x pretty much, just under 2x. Rio's up 50% the last 14 days. ATR pumped almost 3x from the lows. So I don't know. I really don't know what RWA coins you're holding, my friend, but it's up 90% and it pumped to almost 3 cents. That is basically over 2x, almost 3x from the lows. So like I said, bro, I don't know what RWA coins are holding, but all RWA coins are pumping. Even Bricken is pumping, and Bricken is normally a slow mover, but even Bricken is up at least 20%. It's not a lot, but it's fine. If 3-4 of your other RWA coins are pumping and one's it's pumping, but not as much. I think it's still pretty good. Thoughts on all will retire. I don't think you'll retire this cycle. You'll retire in the next cycle 100%. Because this cycle, we're not going to get QE. We are going to get a stop to QT at some point. But the likely chance is we're going to get QE in the next cycle. And it's going to be massive QE. And anyone that buys in that recession will make life-changing money and potentially retire. Stack more ore. Oh boy, sorry. Okay, speaking of ore, that is on the list today. So ore has been doing some very, very good developments recently. I will go over to them right now. So a lot of people was concerned regarding the the FTV and the market cap. So because these guys actually listen to the community, which I like projects that actually listen to the community. What they've done is they've gone on to, where is it, bro? What the fuck did I put it? Did I get rid of it by accident? Fuck's sakes. Hold on, I'll show you guys. Let me go on my profile because I had it on my profile. Follow me on Twitter, guys. I post all our coins updates on here. The buybacks. So this is what I'm talking about with AURT, right? Or now, from 2 billion supply, they've reduced it now to 1.18 million supply max. So they've burnt 40%, over 40% of the supply. So 8 million tokens will be burnt after the smart contract is done. However, this is pretty much going to come off the FDV anyways. So what's pending for burn? So this is 1.47 will be burnt probably in the next couple of weeks. 10 million has been burnt through the buybacks and burns, and then 800 million is locked up, while 390 is circulating. And someone asked in the comments, this Sava guy, please reach out to CoinGecko to adjust that. So the FDV is obviously going to come down now because on CoinGecko it says that it's 1.998 FTV. I mean total supply, but the total supply according to all is 1. What the fuck is it on? 1.1 or 1.2 pretty much. Let's say 1.2. What that means is the FDV is going to come down now, back maybe down to like 60, 55 million, which is, I think that's going to bring a lot more attention to all, because people are going to look at the FDV and the market cap, and they're going to see, oh, there's not a lot of dilution, and they're going to potentially buy the project. So this is a massive move for all. Once this is done, let's go back on the post. They have already applied for both of them. Now we already submitted the updates for review, meaning within the next couple of weeks, you're going to see a change in the FDV, the total supply for all, and more investors will potentially look into all. Now, I think this is quite good. Another massive update for all is they've pretty much been invited to participate and speak at the AI Agent Summit in Toronto 2025, which is happening in approximately 13 days. So it's hosted by these guys, but their co-host is Tencent Cloud. We already know all is backed and supported by Tencent Cloud. Tencent Cloud runs one of their super nodes, which, but look at all the other companies that's going to be in the lineup and that's sponsoring this event. Let's have a look at them, right? We got NVIDIA, we got AWS, we got Google Cloud, Chainlink, obviously Tencent Cloud, Filecoin, and all. So they're going to be talking with some giants in the space. NVIDIA is a giant, Microsoft is a giant, Google's a giant, Chainlink's a giant in crypto, Filecoin's pretty massive. They are actually supported by Filecoin as well. So all in all is looking very, very good for the coming weeks and months. And I think once the AI hype starts again, I think alt will do extraordinarily well. And one of the main reasons is because, like I said, Deepin has been dead. And once Deepin takes off, once storage takes off and made in USA and AI in general, AI agents take off again, which they will pump with all 6 narratives. Keep in mind, there's also a layer 1. So it will also pump with the layer 1 narrative. So, I think all in all, all in the coming months will do extraordinarily well. And this is a project that everyone should consider on their watch list. This is still a good time to buy because it's put in the double bottom the last few months, a bottom over here, a bottom over here, and it's very likely just to keep going higher from here because there's all the G's out now. The only people that's holding this token now is people that have conviction. All the retards that panic sold, and called it a scam, whatever, those guys are out now. Those retards are out. You don't need to worry about them now. The only people that's left holding this is people with actual conviction. And that's why I don't really think it will dump, unless obviously the market dumps, but it doesn't look like the market is going to dump. And therefore, why would alt dump? There's no reason. There's no unlocks, barely any unlocks. There's 2 million tokens coming into circulation like every 10 days, which is fuck all. Because only out of that 2 million, only, I think it's like probably like less than 2-3% that's actually being sold. So I don't know, maybe like 50k alt is being sold by early investors. Most of it is other stuff, ecosystem, mining, etc. Jason, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're having a good day. I've done a thing now where I've made it subscribers mode only. So only people that's actually subscribed to me can fucking talk. How you doing, Ishak, bro? How you doing? Munity actually pumped today, recently. Surprising pump, but Munity is going to be releasing the new game, which is why this has pumped like, 30, 40, 50% or some shit from the lows. 50%, I think it is. 43% the last 7 days. And it's very, very simply because they're throwing hints of releasing the new game, releasing a bunch of updates as well. I went into the Telegram group and the guy said they have a bunch of stuff. They have an AMA coming up. They're going to be releasing a bunch of bullish stuff, but they're ready to drop their main game, which is built on the Beam ecosystem. which means Beam's going to give them a shout out as well. But yeah, this is May will unlock a new era, multiplayer games, which is their main game, Ancient Powers, whatever the fuck that is, whatever, Beyond. So they're going to be releasing a bunch of updates, Immunity will. And I told a lot of people, it's like, oh, I'm nervous about Immunity. Is there's something off about it, bro? Why would they release bullish news when the market is dead and no one gives a shit? When the market was bullish, this pumped like 5 to 6x from the lows. So that clearly it can pump in the market. So I don't get why people lose conviction when everything went down. Gaming coins in general has gone down way more than the average crypto coins. So I don't know why people will lose conviction. I still think this will come back and do very well. It's like 200k in market cap. For this to do 100x, it only needs 20 million. Once the gaming run takes off, this will do a 30 to 50x very quickly, way faster than you can imagine. Because every single time the market gets bullish, it tracks with the market, it gets bullish with the market. A lot of gaming coins don't do that. But because you don't need a lot of money to push this, it will do very well very quickly. And that's why I don't recommend going heavy. I recommend 1% or less, because when it's time to sell, you're going to struggle to sell it. So that's why you put less amount of money. But if once the liquidity comes, you will be okay. But if you put 50k, 30k, 20k, 10k in this, you're going to struggle to sell it. So be careful not to go too heavy, 1% or less, and this will do very well. A lot of people don't realize there's a real company behind Unity, a legit company. Has two bases, one in Dubai, one in Turkey. They have over 30 something employees. They don't just work on Unity. They have a real gaming, company where they've made multiple different games that's generating them millions of revenue. So why would they come into crypto and rug Unity for like 15 to 20k liquidity or whatever is left in the liquidity pool? It doesn't make sense, does it? Buy more on its case, yeah. Is that a good idea? Look, you can buy Immunity now. You can buy OTK now because they're very undervalued. OTK will remove the ST sign on KuCoin as soon as the time period is done. The team has already come out and announced it on their Discord group that it will get removed. They're just like I don't know how much. I don't know what the period is, but there's probably like maybe a couple of weeks period where this has to stay on, and then it will get removed. And then as soon as it gets removed, this will probably pump 2 to 3x within a day or two. That's what normally happens when ST coins get removed from KuCoin. So yeah, I think it'll do well. I think Immunity will do well as well. Still very cheap. Sensei, I don't know if Sensei is going to pull back because Sensei has been doing a lot of great work recently. They've gone on to do and it just keep going higher and higher. More and more people are talking about Sensei recently. They have a lot of shillers talking about Sensei. So is it going to go higher? I mean, lower, I'm not too sure. And if the market don't come down a decent amount, Sensei won't come down more than 20, 15%. And because they're in token 25, token 2409, but what they've been doing is on the last day, on the first or second day, I think it was, they've been collaborating or talking or connecting with a lot of big names, JP Morgan, OKX, Bybit, A116, NVIDIA, Revolut, IBM, and all these big companies. If all they do is just form a partnership with any of these, it will go flying. They're already looking to list on Bybit and OKX, and then connecting with them, I think is pretty good. And these guys are already backed by Fetch AI and AWOZ and AGIX and all these, high cap AI coins. And I do think I think Sensei will do extraordinarily well. I think the AI agent narrative kind of died out for a while, but now is making a comeback. And if you want to put your money into a project that's safe and will be around in the next cycle, Sensei and O is definitely those two projects. I don't think these are rug at all. You don't have to worry about them rugging. Anything to do with Shopify? I don't know. Powered by Griffin's Shopify. I've already seen that. Oh, is that Kitsun? That's the one by Griffin, right? Powered by Griffin, yeah. Yeah, I've seen that. That was quite a good update from Griffin, actually. Any AI coins on Solana? If you want some good AI coins on Solana, I would say one that could do well is this one right here. It's up 40% today. I would obviously not buy it now. I think people in the private group bought this at like 5 million, 5 million. So they caught it before the announcement that they've just partnered with Fetch AI. Not necessarily. But they don't really have any, like these type of projects, like anything on Solana. Look, anything on Solana is pure hype. They've partnered with Fetch AI, which is why it's pumping. But you have to keep in mind that these projects on Solana have no product. What they do is they have a bullish concept and they show the concept, which creates hype. It flies up, and then once people want the product, the product's either going to be shit, or it's just going to underdeliver, or they're going to delay it, and it just fucking dies after that. It's like a massive pump and dump where people pump it on the hype, and then when it's time for the actual product to come out, there's no real product, or it's delayed, or it's just shit, and then people just sell it. So when you look at Solana, I would say the only few good coins on Solana that's actually good, one of them is Griffin, AI agent on Solana. I think this can do very, very well. It's been doing very well. It's still down fucking 90 something percent from the lows. Despite this pumping this much, it's still down 88% from the lows, from the highs, sorry, well, not from the lows, from the highs. So yeah, but it is up like 2-3x from the lows. But like I said, it's still down 88%. This will do well. This one will do well as well. This one right here is this on Solana. I like this one as well. But all of them as pump now. You don't want to be getting into them when they've done candles like this. It doesn't make sense. Just hold on to them, let them cool off a bit, and then buy them. Don't recommend buying any Solana AI coins now because all of them are pumped. This one, Griffin. There's going to be a bunch coming on Solana regularly. You have to keep on the low cap side. But the problem with them is they don't have no product. So you can trade the news, the concept, the hype, and then just fucking sell most of your bag, leave a meme bag. Because when it's time for the actual product, most of them don't bring no real product. It's all bullshit. Alpaca shut up on the delisting news, where Move did the opposite, tanked a lot on the news of Coinbase delisting them. What's this predictable one? Alpaca is a fucking old project, but that was around the last cycle. I remember that project. It's one of those that's just gonna die out, bro. It's just like some projects do this, right, where they give it like one last push, and then they just kill the project off. This is exactly what this has done. It gave it one last push, and now the project just gonna die out. This is what a lot of dead projects do. They give it a massive push, and then eventually it'll just fade away in a few weeks to a month. No one's even gonna know what this project was, it existed, and it's just gonna die in the background, just like multiple relics have in the previous cycles. But I traded this, I shorted this shit, made me some very good money shorting this. What do you think Pinkling can do? Pinkling will pump based on the fact that it will get pumped by Alex Becker. It's just the market cap's high. I would probably say the most this can do is probably like a 10x. That's the most. Maybe between 10x max, I would say. 270 was that previous high. Maybe in a full-blown alt season, this was only because in December we only pumped for a few weeks, so it doesn't really count. I would say between 300, maybe back to all-time high, to 500 million max. I don't think you'll go higher than that. It just doesn't have a real product. One that I like that's similar to, and I do think this will have a pump at some point. One that I like that's very similar to Pinglink, but way better in my opinion, is this one here. I don't know what the market cap is. They still haven't announced it, but this is backed by ASI Alliance. Is the Ben Gertzel, which is the CEO of AGIX, is behind this project, along with the CEO of CGV. These guys merged together. CGV, everyone knows about Cognito Finance. It's done very well at one point. But then obviously died down. I traded the shit out of this, died down, but they've merged into a new project now. SFI, I do think has the potential to pump just because it's new, hasn't experienced the run yet. And once the RWA narrative comes back, because you got to keep in mind, right? Most narratives have an AI sub narrative that always pumps. So when gaming pumped, people were looking for AI gaming. When RWA pumps, people will look for AI RWA. Because people are actually building that, like Aether's building some sort of AI RWA. Pinlink was AI deep in RWA, whatever, and that pumped very well. I think the exact same thing will happen to this. They have some decent exchange listings already. HTX, KuCoin, Mexi, Gates. They have a chance of getting a tier 1 at some point, in my opinion, just because of the connections they have. So this is one that I like, but it's low cap. No one really knows about it. I think it'll do well. I would, instead of buying Pinlink, just buy this, in my opinion. They do the exact same thing, but this one does 10 times more and is more legit than Pinlink. Way more legit. Just look at it, tokenizing the AI economy. AI agents. It's also a layer 2 EVM compatible, which is good. But it's a merge of 3 different teams, which is, and Singularity in it as well. So, and it has a good background. Ben Gertzel, CEO of CGV, she's pretty well known. I don't know who this guy is. This guy is probably the CEO of Southkey. So yeah, Singularity team over here, SDAO team over here. Yeah, Ben Gertzel's over here as well. Overall, I would rather go with this project right here. It's not going to pump. Don't expect this to pump in the market. It's brand new. No one knows about it. These projects pump when the narrative hypes up. So if you're buying this now and think it's going to pump in a couple of weeks, the reality is not. You have to have patience with these type of projects. But I don't recommend going heavy in these ones. I'd rather go heavy in ATR, Bricken, because they're already well known. Prop-Base and Relio. Those are the ones I would go for. And this could be your 5th DGen option. Even though this is probably a higher market cap than fucking all the other ones I mentioned before. Tim, good to see you, brother. Bro, stop spamming these. Sniffed still good. Yes, I still hold my Sniff bag. Sniff will pump with the correct narrative. Like I told you guys, AI will pump, gaming will pump. And what people will do is they'll look for AI gaming coins. And this is what this is, AI gaming. Just look at the volume to the market cap ratio. The best thing about this is the vesting is very good. It's less than 2x dilution by the end of the year, way less than 2x now. So you're not going to get mass dilution when the project's going to just die. But look how well it's been holding this support level for the last since March pretty much now. So it's not a bad time to DCA. Maybe it could go a little bit lower, possible. But even if it does, it's not a bad time to DCA. I'm still bullish on it. I still hold my bag. I would potentially buy a bit more to bring my averages down. But like I said, when the market was bullish and the right narrative was there, it's done like a 6x, 5 to 6x, which is pretty decent. But once people when we get really greedy, people will start looking for low caps, which is the moment you're waiting for. With these low caps, the DGen coins I gave you guys, don't expect them to pump at the moment. They pump when we get extreme greed. When we get to extreme greed, people will look for low caps that will give them the 50 to 100 X's. That is when these coins will explode. At the moment, the narrative is not there, but this has very big backers with the likes of Binance Labs, with the likes of OKX Ventures, the Docs team. I just don't see it rugging. And I do think they are still working. They're hiring more people. And what else are they doing? Let's have a look. I haven't been following it too much. But yeah, these guys are still developing. They're still developing. I don't know what the fuck they're reposting this for. 500 giveaway with Gate.io. Pretty decent. They're doing an AMA over here. They're doing some giveaways. Yeah, this is the anniversary, so they're giving a bunch of tokens away. We're pretty good. I mean, yeah, these guys these are DGen coins. Like, you don't put large amounts of money into them just because, like I said, I don't think they're gonna rug though. I don't think any of my DGen coins are likely to rug. If they haven't rugged already, they're not gonna rug anytime soon, bro. Like, the market we've just gone through a bigger crash than COVID. So if they didn't rug in that period, I don't see them rugging now. I leave Seaport, switch to Bricken and Rio now. At the current moment, if I had to buy any, I'd probably buy Bricken, just because Bricken is only up 30%, whereas, actually, Bricken just pumped a bit more. Shit. Yes, it's up 21% now. Whereas Relio is up double, if not more than double, of what Bricken has pumped. So you look at Relio Relio has pumped 53% the last 14 days. So I'd rather go with Bricken from the current price on, my friend. We were waiting for the Friday data, so it's good. When is going to have a correction to 89K? I was expecting to have the correction, as I said earlier, on the news that GDP was coming in negative. But for some reason, Bitcoin, broke past this support and now has gone higher. We will eventually have a little pullback, but back down to 88K looks unlikely at the moment unless some sort of black swan happens, which I don't see it happening in the next couple of days. The only thing that could bring us down is Friday, which will be Powell speaking. If he's dovish again, hawkish, then the market will likely to have a little dump. So I would potentially wait. If fucking Powell gives us a signal that he's ready to cut rates, then the market is just going to explode up, bro. But I was expecting the market to come down. It did dump to about 92K, 93K. But the market is so weird now. Even on the news that GDP is in recession territories, the market did not fucking barely dump. It dumped on the news, but it was fuck all. It just recovered and just went putting two big candles straight after. So this market is hard to predict. The reality is, if you ask anyone and ask them, yo, if GDP was to come in negative now, do you expect the market to go up or down? 99% of people would say it would go down, but that's what happened. It dumped, but it barely dumped. So it's a weird market, my friend. Very weird market. Is it good to see you, bro? Force on Chirpley looking for some DGen plays. Chirpley is a little bit niche. If I had to buy any DGen play, I'll probably buy Sniffed, Munity, and I still think Chirpley will do well. It has done well every single time. I don't get why the next pump will be any different. Just look at the history of Chirpley. 2023 to 2024, he did a 30x. From the December pump, it pumped about 4x, 3x, 4x. I don't know. From the lows, it done about 4x, 4.5x. So when the market gets bullish again, I don't see why it won't pump again. So I think it will do well. I just don't think it will give you the 50 to 100x. It's just because of the narrative is a bit weak. I'd rather go with Sniff, which is the AI gaming narrative. I'd rather go with Corpo. Corpo is another good DGen coin that's in my DGen list. I think Corpo can do very well. I mean, this is like what, fucking 2 million market cap or some shit, 3 million market cap. This can do very well. The only thing that kills this project is just the unlocks. I don't know when they're going to stop it, but once the unlocks have slowed down a bit, but even then, this is pretty much seed prizes. So the most you see this go down is probably like another 15, 20% max. That's max. This is not a bad DGen coin. This is also in the DGen portfolio. Yeah, I would stick to, I'm going to be looking for some more DGen coins, Jason, so just chill for now. I've already sold my Maneki. I've sold my Maneki. I've seen the chart, and I just thought, what the fuck is going on with this coin, bro? Because when you see this artificial pump and dump consistently, it just throws me off. So when it pumped up here, I took profits pretty much like around these regions, like 4 or 5, I think it was. And I just thought, you know what, a dump is very likely to happen with this in the next couple of weeks. And it happened the next couple of days, actually. And the reason is because it's just an artificial chart. This is not a normal chart. The dump was always going to happen because it's probably done by whales. Whales do these artificial pumps, and that's why I sold my position in Maneki. So Maneki is no longer going to be. Is he still on here? Yeah, I need to get rid of this shit, bro. I don't like projects that do weird stuff like that, like artificial charts. So I sold my Maneki a few days ago, like a few weeks ago. Yeah, GTA is being delayed. I think I'll finally sell my TET. Lost so much faith in the project. Time to buy all. Yeah, you could do that. It's up to you, my friend. TET's done very well recently. It pumped like 60%, which is pretty decent. And that's because they have been doing some decent work. To be fair. But yeah, if you want to sell it, get rid of it, bro. I don't really care. I'm just going to hold mine to the end of the cycle. If it does well, it doesn't. I don't give a shit. But I think I'll make some money on TET by the end of it. By the end of the cycle, I think I'll make some money. This rate cut prediction thing seems to change all the time now. Nobody knows what power will do. It changes all the time. A few weeks ago, rate cuts were guaranteed in June. Right now, it looks like the rates are going to stay the same in June and cut in July. So it's hard to say. And it's all because of the tariffs. If it wasn't for the tariffs, I guarantee you power would have already started cutting by now. But because of the tariff story, it's just it's doing a lot more uncertain stuff. I hope for dropping Lumia. Yeah, Lumia will drop, bro. It's already, bro. Like people talk about the problem with people is they psychologically think from current price. Sometimes they forget to zoom out. Look at Lumia's price, my friend. Look at what it is. Like, how is this a bad time to buy? It's not a bad time to buy. If you like this project, it's not a bad time to buy, my friends. But yeah, if you miss the lows, then maybe wait for a little bit further drop and then buy. But sometimes it helps to zoom out. Instead of looking on the fucking 24-hour chart, look on the yearly chart. It's basically at the fucking lows. When it goes to $2, you're not gonna care if you bought in at $27 or 25 cents or 30 cents or 33 cents, and it makes fuck all difference. No, bro, there won't be no DeFi summer. DeFi is shit. All will retire. I think I've seen this. It's a fucking meme coin, bro. I don't know what to do with this. These are just the ones that could pump and then just fucking in a few weeks just die. What does it mean 800? Yeah, so basically with all there is the 40% that was locked up was originally for miners. So let's go on the Explorer. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. This was so because all is 60% catered to miners. 20% of the miners is for the edge nodes, which anyone can buy. But what they was planning to do, from my knowledge at least, is 65% is catered to the mining reserves. So out of this 65%, 25% is catered towards the edge nodes, which is these ones over here where everyone can buy and run it across the world. So they've have approximately almost 80,000 of these nodes running, so 78,000 across 129 countries. So this is the normal edge nodes, which at the moment is at 50K a few days ago, now it's at 51K. So people are actually buying the nodes. But the other 40% was going to be for a new device they were going to bring out. But it seems they no longer want to do that because the system is already decentralized because they have 80,000 nodes pretty much already running. So they don't really need too much more nodes for the decentralization aspect. So what they done was they decided, instead of just keeping these tokens, we might as well just fucking burn them. So originally it was locked up. They were not going to use it. So originally they locked it up for 5 years. And look over here. So these tokens will be burnt as soon as it gets unlocked. So they originally locked it up, the miners tokens. They locked it up for 4 months, 5 years, sorry. And then recently they realized they're not gonna need these tokens. So they've basically marked it as burnt. So that's 40% of the supply will be burnt. But what people was confused about is there has to be some sort of transparency, right? If this is in a smart contract, meaning that it cannot be touched. If there was to then tomorrow, get rid of this smart contract and burn these tokens, what that would mean is that all these smart contracts over here can just be adjusted at any time and they could rug the project anytime they want. And that is why they can't just go and burn these tokens immediately, because of the fact that it would, make the project look scammy. I would sell my tokens if they would tomorrow just burn 40% of the supply, because it means smart contracts don't mean shit. If they wanted to rug tomorrow, they can't do that. That's why smart contracts are important. The whole point of a smart contract is they can't touch it for, until clear vesting schedule or a certain period of time. That's why smart contracts are important. And that is why they can't just go and burn these tokens, because it was supposed to be locked up for 5 years originally. Now they've planned to burn it, but that token has to stay locked for 5 years. But even then, they're still going to get it off the FTV because it's guaranteed for the burn. That's what it means. And when I say there's no dilution, I mean the vesting schedule is very clean, in the sense where the team tokens gets vested over 6 years. Early investors are mostly out by now, and the team does barely sell. I think the team holds like 100K tokens. So I hold more tokens than the fucking team, or a million tokens. So I personally hold more token than the team does, which is quite crazy to think about. But yeah, so the teams, they barely sell. They sell like 50 to 100 or here and there. So then they're not going to sell. Probably for other use case, probably like for the people that run the Discord or the people that's like community mod. Those are the people they pay, right? Within alt tokens, the actual team that earn plenty of money, $10+ million annual profits. They don't need to sell the token. They're generating money from the revenue from the actual products. So that's what it means. And there's no dilution. The vesting schedule is very clean. There's fuck all dilution. Evening, guys. Manage. Cool guy. Good to see you, bro. Appreciate all the support from you, cool guy, and everyone else that keeps supporting me. Tom guy, good to see you, bro. Very good to see you. Mugen, good to see you as well. What's my opinion on what? What's my opinion on Nyan Heroes? I actually like Nyan Heroes. I think gaming on Solana will do well, like he's always done. And at the moment, this is extremely undervalued. Now, one thing I would be very, very careful with Nyan Heroes is this was good to hold for a certain period of time, and he held up very well to a certain period of time. But the unlocks for this project I think they've started now. If they haven't started, they will start very, very soon. So the unlocks start in the next 18 days, meaning that 7% for strategic contributors, 18% for the team and advisors, and 22% for early investors gets unlocked in the space of 18 days. And in my opinion, this was worth to hold for 1 year. After the 1 year, I don't think it's worth holding this. Keep in mind, 50% is untracked. 50% is untracked. So I'm not a fan of this just based on the fact that all the unlocks is going to start in 18 days. So yeah, let me see how much the unlocks are actually every month. Yeah, it's 42K a month. It's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. But so the coin market cap is 800K. I don't think it's that. It's probably higher than that. By the end of, let's say by October, it's going to be 2 million. So it's like 1x dilution. So it's not that bad. But still, the early investor is going to unlock. I'd rather wait. You rather wait 18 days, see how the token reacts on the unlock, because these are going to get obviously linear unlocked for like, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years. So it's still a decent amount of time. Wait to see how he reacts on the unlock, because it's very likely you'll probably have a low pump and then most likely dump because they will sell the tokens. Thoughts on Corpo? I think Corpo will do well once the gaming coin takes off. Gaming narrative takes off. TokenFi has a chance, yes. Okay, good to see you, bro. Market has been weird since the 20th of Jan. No predictions worked since then. Yeah, I agree with you. Anyone who claimed, I actually got quite a few predictions, right? I told the private group that we're most likely going to dump, and when the market was at, that we're most likely going to have a massive move down when we was around 96 to 97K. And then I said that we're most likely going to bottom, or we probably already bottomed around 76, but then we went slightly lower. It's pretty accurate, pretty much, I would say. That's pretty accurate. 76, 74K is not too far off, so I think I've done pretty well, but these markets are so hard to predict. This drop over here pretty much caught me off guard. I barely sold it. I don't think I sold fuck all of it in December, bro, because we only pumped for 3 weeks. So I pretty much round tripped on quite a few coins. Wa alaikum salam, brother. How you doing? Shilling sounds gay, bro. So look, Slingshot is up 30%. It's on base. No, it's on ARB. This looks like a gaming coin. So look what it is. Bet on the next $1 billion game, Roblox plus AI game launcher. Is this actually supported by Roblox? I don't think it is. So it's like some sort of gambling gaming coin. This could probably do well at some point. Revenue generator. Slingshot powers endless streams of $1 billion opportunity. This is one of those scammy projects that can just pump crazy. But this is scammy, bro. There's no fucking docs team. Anyone that claims all these, generating that much revenue, this is basically similar to GMRX. Very similar. GMRX supposedly pays you for playing all these mainstream games, but they have no license to run all these games. It's the exact same thing with these guys. They have no license. I don't think they got any credibility with Roblox. But it seems that the people can launch games on Roblox and play, and then I don't know, sometimes somehow get paid on the token. But yeah, this is scammy. I would only trade this during the narrative. Get in, get out quick. That's what these projects are like, bro. I would not be holding any of these coins. Yes, it's pumped 30%, but just look at the chart, bro. This is still scammy, though. I'll be very careful with this. I would only keep this on my watch list, and when the gaming narrative takes off, trade it. Because gaming could take off in the next 3 months. And if you're holding it into the next 3 months, it could just rug by then. And that's the kind of risk level this project has. Trump says the Fed is lower interest rates. Fed doesn't give a single fuck what Trump says. Yeah, but Trump, they're two different entities. One's a government entity and one's a private entity. The central bank is a private entity. The government cannot tell the central bank what to do. It's a private company. So that's why they need to get rid of the central bank. Pose a scam. Buzz, good to see you, my friend. How are you doing? I hope you're having a great day. Buzz, have you hit 1,000 subscribers yet? Caesar, how you doing, bro? Crispy, how you doing? Render is my only coin moving this week. Really? What coins do you hold? Render is only up fucking 5%, bro. If you class that as moving, that's crazy. No, it's not actually. It's up way more than that. Wait. How much is Render up? Oh, it's up 32%. That's a quite good pump for a high cap. Fair play. What coins are you holding, bro? Because pretty much everything has moved. Softlex, how are you, bro? Boy, smash the like button. I want to get to 100 likes on every stream. I would appreciate that loads. Ort and Bricken seem to be like a not bad time to finish bag. They haven't pumped much compared to others. Bricken hasn't really pumped too much from the lows. How much is it up from the lows? Let's go over here. Let's check on trading view. Bricken from it's actually pumping right now. Bricken from the lows. Let's zoom in. Over here. Let's get it. Where is my price range? So let's say I don't like getting it from Wicks because Wicks, no one's going to catch the Wicks. Let's say from this candle over here from the lows, like 13 cents. Bricken has pumped 43%. It's not a lot, compared to some other coins. Sensei has pumped more than 2x. ATR pumped, let's see, from the very lows. Let's see from these because ATR was like around the 10 to 11 cents for a very long time, bro. It's pumped 160% at the wick above. Massive. That's like more than 3x pretty much. Ort has pumped, so have a look. From the lows, from like 0.4 cents or whatever. Ort is up around from the wick. Let me see. Hold on. Let me zoom into this one, bro. This one's a fucking weird one. Okay, so from Ort, let's get from this candle down here. Ort is up around 36%. If you count from the wick, 38%. So these two has not pumped as much as some of the other coins. I think even Ondo has pumped that much from the lows. And this is one that I've been trading actively. And I held a massive bag of Ondo long term as well. Even Ondo has pumped more than Ort, which is crazy to think. So yes, I do agree with you. Bricken and Ort are very, very good DCAs right now. And I do think in the coming months, Ort is just this is the problem, right? Because we're in a phase of the market where because the average person is broke and cannot afford crypto, all they're doing is going and gambling on meme coins. At some stage, when tax cuts come and the average person can come and buy crypto, I think utility coins will pump. And obviously, when Ethereum and QT ends, Ethereum pumps, that is also going to bring fundamental projects back. And as soon as fundamental projects are back, you're going to see Ort skyrocket because it caters to so many different narratives. When storage pumps, you're going to see Ort pump. When AI pumps, you're going to see Ort pump. When AI agents pump again, Last time AI agents pumped, even though this is not known for AI agents, it's like a more of a deep in AI coin, it still pumped 4x with AI agents, which is good because when AI agent comes again, you're going to see all on so many different categories that it's just going to keep pumping with all of them, specifically layer ones as well, which is not on here, but it's still, I think it is in the layer one category. So it has so much different narratives, and narratives, as I told people many times, crypto works in narratives. When a narrative pumps, and I'm pretty sure you guys have done this yourself. If you was around in 2023 and 2024 when we had a very decent alt season, not a full-on alt season, but we had a very good pump in alts, guess what happened? People was going on the CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, mainly CoinGecko. They'll go on the categories. For example, they'll go on gaming. They'll scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, and they'll find something that hasn't pumped, and they'll just buy it. That's how I found Creole, and that's how I found Epico. Creole done a 500x from when I told people to buy, and Epico done a 30x in like a week. So that's what people do during the narrative. They tell, they just go and buy anything that hasn't pumped. Low cap, mid cap, whatever the fuck it is, they just go buy it. That's what FOMO is. That's what peak euphoria is. People just go buy anything that hasn't pumped. We haven't reached that stage since 2023, 2024, but most likely will this year, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of that project. Not a fan. I think it'll pump with the narrative, of course, but yeah, I don't really like it. If and how many 3 months unlock Mavia is on the 6th of May, will that affect the price? It will, yes. It will affect the price. It might most likely will pump into the most likely when projects that normally unlock, they pump into the unlock and then sell off. Nai is one of the projects on the list as well today. Has not pumped as much as other projects, but this project does have massive potential, in my opinion, and I do think it's going to pick up eventually. They are going to be releasing their mainnet and their testnet, and this is a project that earns general, they generate revenue on their product. They have big backers, massive ecosystem, massive partnerships, more exchanges things are coming, big partnerships with Web2 companies are coming, and the fact that this is sitting at 8 million is crazy because this has no unlocks till November. So until November, we're not going to see no unlocks, and this is why it's been such a steady climb the last month. They have massive shillers shilling this. Keep that in mind. There's some big Twitter shillers talking about now. So I think this is a very good one. The best thing about all our projects is that most of them barely have any unlocks. All the unlocks were last year. They're done now. So, ATR, no dilution, or less than fucking 0.5% dilution. Bricken, all the early investors are out. Propbase has done the tokenomics thing. Propbase now, what they've done is they fixed the cap to 1.2 billion props. Circulating supply is 33% now. Total staked is 28%. So out of the 33%, 28% is staked, which is massive. They've unlocked, the unlock extended to 8 years, from 4 years. So they've doubled the unlocks now. And they've implemented team token locked for performance, meaning the team and the advisors will only unlock their tokens if the project is performing well. And that is massive. They've lowered the emission down to 8.2%, which is fuck all. Team, Foundation, Seed, and all these guys are only going to get their tokens if the token is performing. And that is a massive change. Most of the supply is catered to community. So yeah, I think this is this one of those projects, in my opinion, is just a no-brainer. Alt is a no-brainer. Propbase is a no-brainer. The team is I think these guys are going to be around for multiple cycles. That's why I would hold these. Legal compliance, US regulations, properties registered LLC. These guys are going to get legal regulations in the US, which is, I think that's going to be massive for the project. So I'm very, very bullish on Propbase, very bullish on Nai. I'm bullish on all my projects because, I don't think any of them are going to rug. The only thing is the only thing I like, the main thing I like about them, there's no dilution. Most early investors are out and they just continue to develop regularly. That's what you need to look for. If you're one of those guys that like to chase hype, you can do that on the side. You can hold your main tokens and still trade other coins. That's the whole concept of always keeping cash on the side for trades, because what you can do is you can trade and build your USDT positions and potentially add to your long-term bags. That's how you play the game. And I've said this for the past, I don't know, 2 years, year and a half, however long I've been on YouTube, to always keep cash on the side, because the market will always surprise you and dump. How many times have I said that? I don't think any other YouTuber even mentions that. They just tell you to buy. They don't even tell you basic stuff. And these are the stuff that most people don't talk about on YouTube. They will only tell you in a private group. But I come on YouTube. A lot of the stuff I do in the private group, it comes on YouTube anyways. What's my opinion on 9? I just explained my opinion on 9. Yeah, I think Sensei will do crazy numbers. The TA for Sensei looks really, really good. The next stop, there's a lot of charts in the group. There's a lot of charts showing that Sensei is going to break out very, very soon. Yeah, both are solid, my friend. But Hondo's been moving recently, and so has Nai. And Nai at the heights was up like 60%. It's obviously cooled off a bit. Any idea why Nai is dropping a bit today? Probably, I don't know. No reason. Sometimes people trade it sometimes, but it'll be, look, Nai drops and just moves back up. So it's going to drop, probably move back up in the next couple of days. It's one of those projects. Yeah, 20 to 30x for Nai is very reasonable. Definitely. Bricken pumped 50%. What the fuck? Did they drop some news? Yeah, 50%. Oh, I thought you were talking about just now, boss. Yo, I got excited for a second. How much maximum to hold considering liquidity? I wouldn't hold too much Nai. I'll like 3%, 4% of your portfolio. The reason is because of liquidity. I do think liquidity will come to Nai at a later stage. A lot of the time, liquidity increases as the volume increases. So that's something you have to consider. At the very heights, let's go on historical data, right? Let's go on December. What was show more? Let me just double check, because let's go on year to date. Let's go into 2024 and check how much liquidity or how much volume we had at the peak in December 2024. Yeah, so look, it had fairly decent volume, 700k, 600k. So I think it was like 1 point something million in December at the peak when it was pumping loads. So yeah, I think it has decent volume. When liquidity, like I said, liquidity comes with volume. When there's more volume, liquidity will also come. And this, when the market gets bullish, tends to have pretty decent volume, 600, 700, 400, considering the market cap is pretty decent. And they are going to get more exchange listings at some point, meaning that they are going to get more volume at some point as well. So I don't really see it as an issue, but I would not be putting a large amount of portfolio into Nai, maybe like 3-4% max. Brian, good to see you, bro. How are you doing? You're broadcasting on 80 degrees across the shop floor. Fantastico, how you doing, buddy? Any DJ and RWA coins I should fold in a few hundred? Yes, I will DM me, Matt. I'll send you some. I have some on my radar. G, send you soon 4 solid gems on virtual launching soon. Hopefully, virtual ecosystem pulls back first. That's perfect, Abs. That's perfect. Because the best places to find AI agents for short-term pumps and quick moves is Solana and virtuals. Look what Game has done. Look what Vader has done. They pumped like 600% in like a couple of weeks. Yo. Yeah, send those to me, Abs. We'll have a look into them, and we're ready to buy some of those, bro, before they launch. What Black Swan event are the Vader right now? Nothing really, my friend. The only Black Swan is Power Speaking on Friday. All the Black Swan have gone past now. Bank of Japan is not raising. That was one major Black Swan. GDP came in lower, which was a Black Swan, but no one reacted. Everyone market just reversed a few hours later. It dumped on the initial news and just disappeared, which is fucking weird. And I thought that was going to be some sort of like, scare in the market. And that's why I thought that we're most likely going to see a retest of the bull market support band which is, where's my bull market support? Is loading up around the 80. Well, at that point, it was around the 88 to 89K region. We didn't even see that. So, but I do think we'll have a pullback to the bull market support at answer point. You could go higher and then retest. So, maybe we could see 100K first, maybe the top of this line, 100K, and then go down. Bought a bunch of brick and Nye prop base ATR before they started moving up. All loaded up, but always tend to add more. Yeah, always one of those projects. The more you add, the better you feel. I'm like, I always buy all. When I get a chance to DCA, if I make some money on the side from my trading, which we do pretty well in the trading group, I always grab some alt, always, because it's just a safe project. You could just get 10x and I'll make plenty of money. So, yeah. Yeah, it just pumped back up and it went back down. Crypto Rover. Oh, yeah, Senate, whatever her name is, says that Trump supports her bill to purchase 1 million Bitcoin. If this happens, we could potentially go to the 200K region. But thoughts on Propsy? Propsy is pretty good. I do think it can do pretty well, Mr. D. Because I think they've just won an award recently. But this is a pretty decent, slow-moving RWA coin. Don't expect this to move aggressively. I mean, just look at the chart. It's going to move slowly, but the chart has always been slow. Just look over here in November, December, it pumped fuck all, like just barely 2x. Whereas ATR pumped 7, 8x, prop base pumped like 4, 5x, Bricken pumped like 6x, Rio pumped like 3, 4x. It's a slow moving asset, but it's safe and it will do well. Just because look how low the volume is. The volume is ass on this. There's other RWA coins that I'd rather get over prop chain, but I think it's fundamentally strong. But if you're talking about making money in RWA, I would rather buy the other 4 that I called because they move with the markets. They talk about no one. Prop C there doesn't have a strong community as prop base, Rio, which is always in the top 10 most talked about altcoins on Twitter space. Prop C is never there, meaning that barely anyone talks about it. And the way that these coins move is by shilling, and those guys have massive shillers. Even Bricken has a pretty decent community now as well. So you see Bricken, for example, when you see someone like a decent Twitter shiller saying, "What's your favorite RWA coin?" You see a bunch of people spamming Bricken in the comments. That means the community is strong. That's how you get people to buy a coin. Will Sniff bounce back as soon as likely? Sniff will come back when the narrative becomes a thing. So, like I said, when AI agents became hot, Sniff pumped. You're going to see a period in the market where everyone's going to get really, really greedy. And that's when they're going to buy the low caps, the Chirplies, the Immunities, the Sniffs, the SKRs, and all these coins, the DGen portfolio. They're going to buy it when the market gets bearish. I mean, when the market goes into extreme greed, which we haven't seen yet. When the market just in neutral to slightly green, slightly greed, people just go buy the high caps, the mid caps, and some low caps. That's it. Is when we go to the greed and the extreme greed that people start looking down in lower in cap because they get greedy. That's the whole point that it works. When you get to extreme greed, people go into the low caps. That's why Sniff was pumping, Chirply was pumping, all these other coins, Corpo pumped like 3, 4x. All these coins were pumping on that news because we were on the fact that we was in extreme greed. That's how when we're neutral, people normally either trade Bitcoin, mid caps. When we go into greed, people start looking for lower caps. And then when we go to extreme greed, that's when they go to the micro caps. So you have to be patient with the DGen coins. They're not going to pump at the moment because people's not greedy at the moment. That they only pump with extreme greed or some crazy bullish news. But on that note, guys, it's been a pleasure. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. I do have a joint collab with, I don't know if you guys heard of him or not, but Everything Altcoin. So me and him are going to come onto stream on Sunday, and we're going to talk about our favorite coins. So his audience is going to be here. It's going to be on my channel, and I'll probably do one on his channel at some point. So on Sunday, I do have a collab with Everything Altcoin. So make sure you guys come down for that. He's going to give you guys some mid caps, some low caps, and some micro caps as well to look into. And for his audience, I'm going to be shitting altcoin, obviously, altcoins. So you guys make sure you don't miss that. Drop a like on your way out. I would appreciate that loads. Hope you guys, the top 3 coins, the top 5 coins in each category. So the usual. I'm going to start releasing some new coins very, very soon for you guys, because the thing is, I don't like to have too much coins in my portfolio just because I'm going onto the basis of narrative hopping. Let's say I got 4 AI coin, 5 AI coin max, and every single one of them does a 10x. I take my money out and I put all the profits I've made, I'll put it into RWA, and then I'll put it into some other assets, like maybe 60% RWA and then 60% game or 40% gaming. And then when RWA pumps, now instead of having 1 million Bricken, for example, or 1 million Relio, with my profits from my AI coins, I now have 4 million coins, 4 million Relio. So then now when that does a 5x, I've just made a shit ton of money. And then what you do then is you take all your money from RWA and then you go into the next narrative before he pumps. So then now you've made a 10x in AI, and now you've made a 10x in gaming. You've basically 100x your portfolio, and then now you take all that money, put into all the high caps in gaming for when they pump. You get a 2 to 3x, and now you've made 2 to 300x your money. That's why I don't like having too many coins. And I know some people will be like, "Oh, you talk about the same coins over and over again." Yeah, because I don't like buying too many coins. If you guys want YouTuber that talks about a new coin every fucking 5 hours, go watch Crypto Gains or Superman. They'll talk about the next 1,000, 10,000x coin every other day, and 99.99% of them die and rug. So that's the way I like to do my thing, because I like to do the narrative hopping thing. But I'll probably release maybe 2 more coins, probably 2 more coins. Yeah, but there's a bunch of coins that is good for trading that we can talk about as well. But anyways, guys, appreciate all of you guys for coming down. Drop a like on your way out. I will be live on Sunday as well, so make sure you guys tune in for that. Appreciate the support as always. I'll see you guys in a comment in a few days. Take care. Bye bye.